The Xbox 360 was arguably the best console to ever be released in terms of enjoyment people were given from the console. I think that everyone has super positive things to say about it when you ask them, whether that be the games that released on the console, we're talking Halo Reach, Fable, or the super cool Avatar system. But for me personally, the best thing about the console was its indie games section, featuring a bunch of games all made for the Xbox 360, all so different and unique, and also all varying in quality. I'm not gonna pretend these games are the best things to ever be made or absolute must-play masterpieces, but they were amazing to me, and that's for a simple reason. They were fun. Playing these games with friends after getting home from school almost 10 years ago now is still some of the best gaming memories I have. The roster of games was almost unending, and not to mention every single one of these games was super cheap and affordable. Some of the games that I have such fond memories with, you can still even play today. Stuff like Blood and Bacon, a game where you fight hordes and hordes of pigs that explode into tornadoes of blood once you kill them. Or Press X to Not Die, a really short, cheesy, first-person live-action game where you make choices while running around a town of violent, infected people.
Chocolate.
I love chocolate.
That's the most normal reaction.
I love chocolate.
Mic off.
I love chocolate.
Why did they
I
add?
love chocolate.
Look a different mic.
Watch.
How much does this scene last?
What the fuck?
This should be the whole bar.
Oh,
Look at the woman on the right.
She's just trying not to laugh.
fucking mouth. I didn't even swallow.
Here goes your back.
I'm just gonna stand there and do it.
That's it. No, no longer you do like chocolate.
Bro, she
Were
just
they looking at
inhaled
each
a
other
whole
like that?
bar of it. Or another one of my favorites, Mount Your Friends. You and a group of friends take control of these huge bodybuilders, stacking yourselves on top of each other, moving each limb one at a time, Iron Bread style, to make the biggest human meat tower you can. All of these games, and more, are still around to play today, which I think is great. And if any of these sound appealing to you, I do really recommend them. They are super fun, especially with friends. And they're also still super cheap. Although sadly, not all of these games are still as easily accessible to play today. Some of my favorites being Avatar Minor Paintball, which is essentially a Call of Duty clone where you play paintball with your Xbox avatars against your friends. Which, while probably not sounding too fun the way I'm explaining it, it was a blast when you're locked in with friends. AMP, which is what I'm going to call Avatar Minor Paintball, also features in what I call the 3-flavor minor trilogy. I couldn't think of a better name. That being Murder Miners, Castle Miner Z, and obviously Avatar Minor Paintball. These games all have something very similar in common. Can you figure it out? 3, 2, 1. Yeah, they all have minor in the title. They also all feature some sort of building or mining aspect that has undoubtedly been shoehorned in due to the astronomical popularity of Minecraft at the time. But anyway, these games were genuinely so fun. Murder Miners especially, this game is actually incredible. It's a mix of Halo and Minecraft, and it has so many different game modes and elements that make it unique. You can play Infection, Capture the Flag, Parkour, Hide and Seek. It's really well made with like a unique visual style that I also enjoy. It also encourages community made things, even listing maps made by players on the official maps list. Castle Miner Z is also very fun, but for different reasons. It's just a bit of a mess, but a really enjoyable one, being a very obvious Minecraft clone where you play as your avatars and fight against zombies, skeletons, and dragons. Yeah, this game's a bit insane sometimes, and you can tell this by the weapons. You're probably thinking like swords, maybe a big axe, even a katana if we're going rogue. No, you can use Glocks and rocket launchers, which I guess is understandable when you're fighting fucking dragons. But weirdly, both of these games are getting sequels soon, which is crazy to me considering how old they are. But again, I'm not complaining. I love both of these games. Also, a bit of a side tangent here. I'm going through the list of old Xbox Live indie games, and a lot of these games are very degenerate. Like, for example, this one I found, Baby Maker Extreme. I do not remember seeing this in the store when I was playing on Xbox 360, and there's a lot more than just this. It's kind of hard to go a page without seeing a half-naked woman, and I didn't expect that when looking through these games, but I guess everything has an audience. And to be fair, there really is something for everyone in this catalogue of games. There's horror, puzzle, action, and a fuckload of zombie games. That genre became so saturated in gaming, especially around this time. I am happy that a lot of these games still have an audience today, and are even still getting updates, because they are really good games. Well, most of them. It was so ahead of its time having an indie library like this, full of fun things to play alone or with friends, and you can see how effective it was both for players and developers alike, with some games getting their start here. You might know Comedy Night, that game where you see clips of people saying slurs on the stage.
What do you call a nun in a wheelchair?
Or even Fez, which is an outstanding puzzle game, which was featured on here very ahead of its time. Overall, I love a lot of these games, and I think a lot of people feel the same way judging by some of the other videos I've seen covering the console and everything it did right. Also, shout out to Doritos Crash Course, that game's peak.